Today we have our Commissioner Dan Williams. We have Jenny Plute from Park County. We have Bob Campbell. We have many of our Forest Service partners. So what we want to do is answer all your questions before we leave. Okay? So I'll give you a real quick update. We may be here a long time. So what we have is the fire's 25% contained. So we are showing a containment. Your acreage is 1,215 acres. So it grew about 30 acres from where we had it yesterday. So that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. The suppression operations are continuing. Our firefighters and public safety remain our first priority. So that's a big one, right? One thing that's happened with this fire that's a little bit different is we had this really fast ramp up where we had a fire that was moving quickly. The winds were driving it. We had a lot of smoke. We had a lot of fire. So that creates everyone knowing that you get a fire. But then yesterday what we have is the fire was really kept low. We didn't have as much smoke, but the potential for a serious fire and something that could hurt the public is really high with this fire. So you're not going to see as much smoke. That's not such a bad thing, but the problem is there's still a huge potential. So that's what they're dealing with today. Your fire departments are doing a really good job. I can't express to you these types of conditions when you're dealing with 60-mile-an-hour driving sands, dust, smoke, and the fact of just being in a 38-degree high with a 50-mile-an-hour wind. So for them to be doing that, dealing with water, they're out there all day in it, it's a lot. That feels like you're out here for a week, not just 2 days with a fire. Okay?
Well, thank them.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we're not as able to give as many updates as we normally would with a fire. And a lot of that is because it's really hard to even fly this fire. We can't even get the updates sometimes. We know that it's within the boundaries of what's been set by our U.S. Forest Service teams, by our teams to know where the fire's at. But a lot of this terrain is not something you're going to go traipsing through with the potential of a 60-mile-an-hour wind that could blow that fire so quickly over firemen. And the one thing we don't want to do is get somebody injured or killed in this fire. So that potential in those deep valleys that sit through there and some of the areas that they're going to fight it in, you fight it from a perimeter. You don't fight it from the inside of a fire. Okay? So a lot of that, you're not going to get as much information because we don't have as much to give on this fire yet, right? So when we can give it, we're going to give you all that we can possibly give. One thing is you can find that information. There's a website. It's the 403
Fire Colorado 2023.
Yep. So you can go to that website. You can go to our Facebook. It's linked on our Facebook for the Teller County Sheriff's Office. You can find it on the county site. Those are all areas you're going to get that. There's been a lot of questions about the Everlink system and the Everbridge system. So let me explain that again, okay? Here's the problem we had. We used to have what's called Nixle. Everybody had Nixle. It was a great system. I loved it. I could push out information. Here's the problem. There's too many residents for Nixle. What that did was it created your phone lines to be tied up when we sent out a page to this many residents that you in the fire evacuation zones may not get that evacuation for a couple hours because it downloaded and it really stopped the information flow because the lines are only so big. It's like a garden hose. I can't pump 1,000 gallons through that hose. I can only pump 2 gallons a minute through that hose. Well, the same thing happens the way your cell phones work. So if you're in Woodland Park or you're in another area that's not as affected, you're not going to get information from Everbridge. It's not designed to give you information. That information has to come from our news media partners, our Facebook posts, the tweets, the different sites. The Everbridge system, if we do that, would then clog up all of your cell phones and your data to where if we did have to evacuate somebody, you may not get it today. So please understand that we're not the little community we used to be where you'd get all that information all at once. It just can't happen. It's not our fault. It's the problem with phone lines, phone systems, internet systems. It's just so much data now. The other side of it is, and we have gotten a few negatives on social media. Listen, I'm used to getting negatives on social media. That happens, right? I'll tell you, a couple of those have been kind of interesting to me. Yesterday I had a grilled cheese sandwich and I wanted to show that, hey, we had a great group. It was a grilled cheese truck that showed up that we wanted to show. They did 200 meals to firefighters. So I ate one of their grilled cheese. I got heck over that because I'm eating a grilled cheese, right? Second one was, yeah, the second one was I smile too much. Well, I got a lot to smile for because there's not been a loss of a structure in this fire, right? So understand, if I'm smiling, we're okay. All right? So if I take those types of hits, that's fine. I'm good with that. But I want you to understand, there's a lot going on. And these firefighters are doing really good things. Just because you don't see smoke doesn't mean there's not a potential here. All right? We don't know when for sure we'll be able to let you back in homes. We don't. I wish I could have let you in an hour after this started. But I would be remiss in my duties if I did so. Here's a problem with these types of fires, and we learned this from the High Park. We learned this from Waldo. We learned this from other fires. The speed at which a fire can move is sometimes way faster than we can notify. You had a fire that's maybe 1.25 miles away from a homes. That's pretty dang close in our books, right? It's hard for us now to be able to get that information out and to get to every single home, especially at night, to be able to tell someone, you got to leave now. And then the other side of it is, if you have stuff that you want or animals, you're now deciding, why I got to get my animals out. It takes minutes. It takes 30 minutes. A couple of fires ago, I was in the middle of one of the subdivisions with a fire chief. The fire almost got us trying to get to those people to get them and their animals out of the fire because they stayed to try to get their animals out. It only took 30 minutes. The problem with a lot of our subdivisions in our area is that we have an interface of those trees right up against homes. The other side of it is I have a lot of subdivisions that are one way in, one way out. Now you have emergency exits. What happens when somebody breaks down an emergency exit trying to get out? Now everybody's stacked up behind them. Okay? Serious thing, these fires, and the potentials because of where they're at is huge. It used to be we fought fires because they were moving into an area off of Forest Service properties. That's not always true anymore. Sometimes these fires start in your subdivisions or right outside of a subdivision. So we're fighting between homes on these things. So it is serious, and that's one of the reasons we can't just let you back in as fast as we want to. We try to get people in, but the other side of it is we have a lot of people now in these subdivisions. When I started here, our subdivisions were a size that it was a rural community. So about every third house didn't have somebody in it because it was a summer home. Well, look around you now. You got neighbors on all sides. Everybody's here. And that's a good thing in some ways, but it is manpower to do all these things takes a lot more. We're also in a time in the fire season that this is before fire season is hit, right? It used to be we understood that about 2 months from now is when fire season started. We have not had snow in our subdivisions where you used to have maybe a foot of snow still in that back country or in between those trees. It's not the case. If you look at your grasses and things, even in your subdivision, I drove through Wilson Lakes yesterday. Somebody, at least, they cut down a lot of that grass. But if you look at the height of the grass from green up last year that went dry, you have straw standing that's about 1.5 feet tall in some places. That's what drives this type of behavior. The trees, even though we see snow, they're really dry, right? So it's that moisture content that we have to really be afraid of. So right now, please bear with us as we deal with these issues. And know that we're going to get you back home as soon as possible. I don't want you out any longer than we can. It's hard on you, and I know that. And I've been evacuated a few times myself. So we've all been there. But just know we're here for you, and we do care. And even though we're not putting out information constantly, it's because I don't have the information to give you. We are going to try to take some pictures and do some feeds about every 45 minutes to let you know, hey, this is going on or that's going on. But, you know, if there's no news, it's good news. All right? So if you don't see me for a while, don't take that as an insult. Take it as an understanding you're all right. Okay? What I'd like to do is ask, is there anybody with any questions for me?
Yeah, I got one.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what started this whole thing?
You know, I'm going to leave that to Park County, but quite honestly, right now, they won't be able to give any information because it's an ongoing investigation. And I don't think anybody really knows yet.
Very good. Thank you.
What do you- You have anything else?
Yeah, I can address that here momentarily. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday it wasn't in Teller County. Has it gone to Teller County yet?
It's not. It's sitting right on that line, and they've been able to contain it to right on that border of that line. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy. Yeah. Yeah, not smiling. I'm not smiling. I'm just saying. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Power still on in the evacuated areas?
Who can answer that one for me? Is the power still on those?
Wilson Lake is still on.
Yeah.
We were just there.
Okay, so we haven't shut off any power. Now, there was some power outages yesterday. That was not part of the fire, per se. That was, we had a lot of trees that hit transformers and knocked out transformers, and Core Energy was trying to get those back up. So I think at a certain point we had about 2,000 residents without power, but it was intermittent. So that wasn't anything we did. That was Mother Nature telling us they were going to shut the lights out for a little bit. Yes, ma'am.
I know you don't have much to report at
Mhm.
times, or you don't have the information to report, but can you at least let everybody know that there are no new updates and on a more of a regular basis?
So what you'll find is if you go to the Teller County Facebook site, you're going to get more of that information because they did do a good job of continually putting out stuff yesterday. But don't expect it every 45, 30 minutes, all right? If we're doing that, it's taken away from what they're trying to get done because there's only a certain amount of people that are in these command centers to be able to do that. So just know we want to get you the information, but bear with us, okay?
Is the media not out there or getting the information as well?
So-
To be able to report it on TV? 'Cause
Well, you're right. And the thing is with our media partners, they're putting stuff out, but they only put stuff out when they have something to put out. Even for us, if we don't have anything to put out that's new, we don't put anything out because it's not new. I don't want to just keep putting things out to say I don't know anything, right? Because what's that then do? Then I have somebody going, you don't know anything. Well, it's an overstatement. I really don't. Yeah. But please understand, if we have something, it does get put out immediately. Okay? Yes, ma'am?
People online want to know will there be air support today?
So I'm going to let our Forest Service partners talk about that. I think the winds are lower today, but there's still an expectation. We don't know where those winds are going to be for sure. So,
So the predicted forecast is about 10 miles per hour less than yesterday. So we'll have, hopefully, if the weather forecaster is right, there's a running joke in our office. It's the only job you can have where you can be wrong 100% of the time. But anyway, they've been very accurate this time, not to disparage my NWS partners. But less today, less tomorrow, and then potential for a weak potential for snow or moisture towards the end of the week.
so that I'm going to get close when somebody's talking, not because I want to be, but the news media partners, I'm the only one mic'd up, so I am the walking mic right now. So yesterday we had an issue where I wasn't close enough to the mic and none of it actually went on the air for people to hear. That was our mistake, so that's why they have mic'd me up today to where I have to stand close to everybody, okay?
You were smiling though.
I am smiling. Yes, sir.
Do you know where the heat center is? Do you know what direction it's bearing? Do you know how fast it's going?
So I can kind of answer all that with not for sure, right?
Yeah.
But here's why, right? A fire doesn't have a center. It kind of grows in a whatever pattern the wind blows it. So the issue for us is that if you've been up here and been out in that area, winds change constantly. And the valleys may have a northeasterly direction, but the top winds on top of the mountain may be out of the southwest to whatever. So right now, until the thermals change and some of the wind changes, it's not going to have a set direction. So the
Are those
growth,
lines holding?
well, we have 25% containment. They have held because we have a perimeter of where we want the fire to kind of stay, and our fire teams are doing a great job of making sure they haven't gone over those boundaries.
Are you containing it on blue and little blue and big blue?
Well, I don't know that for sure. So it's it's just something I can't answer for you. Yeah. I can just tell you we're doing good. Yes, ma'am.
So, do you know how long the waiting list is and how if you guys are actually taking people in to get stuff?
Yeah, I can tell you yesterday we had 50 people yesterday we were trying to get in and out. and we give them time enough to get things out. So if you're on the list, I know they're continuing with that today. Okay?
So, yeah, and how do I get on the list?
So what you'll do is, right here in the back is Heike Carr. She's a deputy. She'll take your name and information and direct you to the front where you'll meet with a deputy to take you back in, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Someone wants to know, have houses actually been hit with slurry?
I
Retardant.
no house has been hit with slurry. Yep. Yep. Yes, sir.
Any updated information on donations for firefighters, anything that y'all need, any places to take them?
Yeah, so right now, I don't believe we need anything. Okay, we are sitting good. We had such a huge influx of items yesterday that were in need. This community is one of the only communities I know that is this generous, right? We took the items we needed yesterday. Really, we are sitting good. So please, nothing right now. If we do have a need for something, then our PIOs will put that out as a, hey, a need. But I just want to say thank you for all that donated yesterday. It was amazing. Anyone else? This is good. All right.
Because you're smiling.
Yeah, it's because I'm smiling. I'm smiling.
When you smile, I smile.
Yes. Just know they're going to do everything they possibly can, and they're doing an amazing job. I couldn't ask for more. We fought a lot of fires together, the Forest Service in Park County and Teller County. Not being too far, but we've gotten good at the communication of everything. And these partnerships, you just don't grow. They are something that are nurtured and developed over years of service together. So when we walk into a fire now, it's like old home week, right? Not that we want it, but at least I know who's involved and that they're going to do everything they possibly can, and that communication to our community is huge. Not all communities get this type of information flow all the times, right? So if you need us, we're here. Know that we are going to be putting out more information today because the winds are died down a little bit. Hopefully we can get some more MMA flights or that multi-mission aircraft that does the mapping. That tells us where things are at, what's going on. Right now, don't expect that today you would be released to go home. All right? Yeah, I just wanted to hit that. Have a plan, right? Yes, sir.
Do you have any map of where those perimeter lines have been made?
We do. We haven't released any of that, okay? And we probably won't release it because what's happened is that to be able to show the lines of counties and then areas, I don't want people to worry that that's my, because things are off when you deal with assessors' offices, the mapping softwares to the overlays. It's not always correct. And what we've had in the past is it really makes some people believe, oh my gosh, I will tell you that houses are not, we haven't lost any homes. They're not threatened or impacted at this point other than the fact that it's a fire in the general area, okay?
Is there any way to get more of a combined map? It seems very divided between Teller and Park. Like the map I see is Teller, but there's no fire in Teller. The updates I get are Teller.
Yep.
There's not really any updates from Park. So is there any way to get a map of the whole fire area and who's evacuated on the Park side as well on there and what that fire is doing?
Well, I think that's something we can work through our GIS department.
Okay.
So, and you have to understand that the assessor's webpage Park County doesn't tell who lives in Teller County and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the technology issues that we run into, is not having one generalized map and being like, all right, this is what's going on in Teller and Park. We try to do the best we can each and every time for all the fires that we've had recently. So.
And the other thing too is that, have anybody ever seen a mapping plotter? These things are beasts, right? And they're very expensive. We've had some issues where somebody's plotter broke down, couldn't do it. We've had some issues where the whole staff that dealt with that thing has COVID now. So it's, I don't know what it is, but in our line of work, everything that can go wrong will go wrong at that moment. We are working on some new technologies in Teller too that the mapping will become easier. We won't need the plotters to be able to put things online. But the overlays too on that information, having somebody that can do that is very specific. So we're working through those issues to make it better and faster. But we're still dealing with some old school technologies and software systems that need to be updated for that. So know that we are working through that problem, but we will figure something out. Yes, ma'am.
Could you give us a general information about where the containment lines are, east side, north side, south side, west side?
Generally speaking,
Well-
yeah, with the mic.
We gotta be friends.
So, that's right. Generally speaking, and let's see if I can do this. Actually, let me look at my notes here so I don't miss and cause some chaos here on the county roads. 1 second. So this is the objective right now, west of 46 and 46A. That's those are Park counties and Teller. North of County Road 100. South of Park County Road 98 and Teller County 46, and east of Park County Roads 98 and 403. So the fire is entirely within that kind of box-ish shape.
Yeah. So what does that mean for you? The roads really are that box, right? That's really what we're looking at, is that box. It's just really hard to fight in there. Okay. Questions? Anything else?
How about pre-vax? Are we gonna just remain there for right now?
Yeah, so we'll remain on pre-vac. And understand, you're in Teller County, you live in the woods.
Yeah.
There should always be some level of pre-vac anyways.
Right,
But this is more of a standby in case it blows up on those pre-vac zones. Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. Any other questions? You have anything else you want to say?
Bless you. Oh, sure. You all right, Renee? Okay.
Our live stream's gonna be a little bumpy today, so.
It must have been something I said already. All right, good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Lieutenant Jen Flute with the Park County Sheriff's Office. It's nice to see some smiling faces this morning. Again, I want to extend my thanks to each and every one of the firefighter personnel, volunteers, the auxiliary members, everything that makes the wheels go round, I thank. The sheriff kind of touched on it. I want to talk about how hard these firefighters have been working. Case in point, that they have kept this fire in Park County. And you're welcome. So, a shout out to the Lake George Fire Department. If they did not have their quick response as they did, we might not be here. We might not be talking about this today. So shout out to them. We really don't have much. Like the sheriff said, if we don't have much to report, we're not going to. So the road closures are still in effect. All of County Road 403 and the offshoots of those roads, okay, they are all still closed. County Road 98 east of County Road 61 is still closed. We are still doing escorts into Slater Creek and into the subdivisions. So if you guys need to come in and get more medications or dog food or anything like that, please just stop at a roadblock and we will get you an escort into your house. Now, ongoing investigation. You're going to hear me say that time and time again. You guys have to understand that in order to have a most epic case, if need be, or investigation, we have to have the integrity of that case withheld, and it has to stay strong. So that's where that's at right now. We are working hand in hand with the Forest Service, the fire investigation team, as well as the Park County Sheriff's Office. I had several officers out there yesterday with the fire units. As soon as we know and we feel comfortable with what has been discovered, we will let everyone else know. So please just note that it is an ongoing investigation. Other than that, that's really all I have to report. Any questions for me?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
So where do we get alerts now from Park County? We had ash falling on our house and we evacuated. Teller County had already announced it was on TV, way past us. So we got no alerts. It was just, and we couldn't access to go in to see where the fire was. So how do we get it for Park County now?
So the question was, if you guys couldn't hear over here, how do you get alerts for Park County? We have a code red system. Ma'am, are you a resident of Park County?
Yes, and I tried.
Code Red
Okay.
is not working.
It's not working.
Okay, still not? Okay,
Never been an update from Code Red. nothing.
Right. nothing.
okay.
But they're-
So we will look into that. Commissioner Mitchell has touched on that yesterday. We will get to the bottom of it. You guys, technology is not foolproof. There is loopholes, there's mistakes. So, and unfortunately, it always falls during the middle of crisis when we find out, man, this doesn't work, or gosh dang it, you know, and we apologize for that. However, we strive to make that better, so we will figure out what's going on, what happened. Is it through text messages? You didn't get any
We got
communication?
nothing. No phone call, no text, nothing. I mean, there's been no updates on like Twitter. Your only update yesterday was a red flag day and a herd of elks crossing the road and Divide. Who cares?
Well, we don't post stuff about Divide, but on through our feed right now, it's parkco.us, our Facebook page, and then our Twitter account.
And the Park Code District, I'm so sorry, you know, we're still at, we're still at midnight, and the last update was 5:30. So the only thing we got to depend on was Teller County's information.
Which the fire's not even in their county.
Right.
So we just like to hear more from our county.
Okay.
Smoke from my house, I mean, it's
Right.
500 yards from my house, nobody can.
So that's what you're gonna
Right.
tell me when my house burns down?
Say what?
That's what you're gonna tell me when my house burns down?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not working.
Well, no, and I'm not saying that our system's not working. I'm just saying
I am.
all technology is not 100%. So we did our best. We had evacuations within 20 minutes. We had people out there being evacuated from the fire.
I didn't, I was there.
So,
No,
okay.
and we weren't.
I was there where it started.
We weren't
Well, and
there.
I understand that, sir. What I'm saying, you guys, is we tried to do our absolute best. The fire department got there in a very expedited time to get eyes on that fire. We had law enforcement on scene relatively quickly, doing those evacuations within a mile radius from the very initial.
And I will tell you too that we run joint services with Park County, and I know our Wildland Task Force did respond immediately also, and I know that we had deputies en route as soon as they requested. So I know a lot of those areas. You guys got a lot of area out there. That's a big area. Know that we're working together too. I know we're doing some after actions on what we can help assist with more. And I know that we've been working with their county commissioners too to kind of see what we can do. But I think it's a.
I mean, that's everyone's concern. I'm not here to just throw fluff your way. You guys, we are a large county. We are beyond short-staffed. Our dispatch is beyond short-staffed. I don't know what else to tell you. We try our best. Commissioner Mitchell's here. She's gonna get to the bottom with the Code Red situation. She's been working on it yesterday. So, Commissioner, do you have any
Hey,
answers to that?
real quick, nothing against you, Jen, but
Oh, yeah, no worries.
where's our sheriff?
What do you mean?
Our sheriff, why is he not here?
He's actually on a scheduled vacation. So, and everyone deserves a vacation, so.
Yeah, especially when we work them as hard as we do. When we're done with this, public information, I wanna get together with all of you that have had issues with Code Red. I'm gonna take all your names and addresses. I will be working with dispatch. We will look at each of your addresses. I'll ask you to also go and make sure you are registered with Code Red, but it's on me, and I will work with them to make sure that you guys are dialed into it and that you're getting information. Do not know, what happened, but I will get to the bottom of it and make sure you guys are plugged in for communications.
Are you the commissioner for the eastern side?
This is District 1 and I am your gal, so I work for you. And so I will, it was brought up yesterday, dispatch was so busy and our director of dispatch was actually working switchboards. And so I couldn't really get too deep into it with her because she was making sure that people were calling in, were getting taken care of. But I will get to the bottom of it and I'll make sure you guys get service, okay? So we will get with you after.
So I know we don't wanna like spread the information, clearly Park is very large and we are a very small portion, a very little portion of that. But point blank, I was here yesterday, we talked, I'm signed up, we're getting nothing. Is there a way for you to retweet the information that's going out, like, we strictly saw that there was a fire, not even a fire ban, I had to go to the Park County website. We don't have great connectivity, we're out of our house. We live in the middle of nowhere, like Lake George doesn't have great connectivity. Like, is there any way to share that a little bit more and just say, hey, if you're in the affected area, this is for you?
Well,
We gotta get it to us somehow, as we're just sitting here waiting.
yeah, well, Code Red is set up by area. And so if you're living way outside of the area, just like your system, it will only ping you, because we don't want to freak out everybody in the county that there's a fire here, you know, so we try to dial in and locate. And that's what I'm guessing might be a challenge, because I bet some of your homes have the address of Florissant, even though you're in Park County. And my gut's telling me that might be the communication glitch that we've got with Code Red. So I've been putting I had some conversations. We'll dig deep with your addresses and figure out if that's in fact the case. And if it is, we will make sure everyone in Park County who's got that glitch, that we reach out and make sure it's handled. So, it's on me, and we'll talk after this is over, and I'll get all your information, and, I serve you. Okay?
You said it's
So,
location based, so is that like our physical location? So if I'm here now or in Woodland, will I not get the alert?
no,
Or
it's
is
your,
it where I'm registered?
it's your home. It's where your address is within the county.
Okay.
So we'll talk afterwards, okay?
Okay.
So,
Well, unfortunately for this, I mean, this could dig up a whole other can of worms. You know, the commissioner talked about all of Slater Creek Road has a Florissant address, right? So half the time your 911s, if you were to call 911, if you live on Slater Creek Road, it goes to Teller County. And then Teller County Dispatch says, oh, you live off of County Road 403. Oh, sorry, that's in Park. Hold on, I'm gonna transfer you to Park County 911. So this could, I mean, this is, it's always evolving, right? So we strive to do better each and every day. With the commissioner's help and with our communications director, we hope to get this squared away, so we don't have this conversation next time. You know? So, any other questions over here? Yes, ma'am.
So the night of the fire,
I'm sorry?
the night of the fire,
Yes, ma'am.
you call the sheriff's office in Park County, you get a recording, they will answer you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Do not call the dispatch unless you've got a dog or this or this or this. A local grocery store is open 24 hours. So what can we do? When there's an emergency, have someone answer the phone at the sheriff's department still leaving a recording that is not returned, by the way.
Okay, so if you're calling the main number to the sheriff's office, you are going to get a recording. It's just, it's no different than any other business Monday through Friday. Now, the emergent line for dispatch is manned 24 hours a day. And that phone, say what?
It referenced not to call the dispatch.
Well, during an emergency, obviously dial 911. The non-emergent, but if you need to talk to someone right away, you need to call Park County Dispatch, which if you don't have that, I can absolutely give it to you. That is manned 24/7. I will note that, and I will get that with get with the sheriff when he comes back on Tuesday. All right?
So what I'd like to do is I have a separate conversation too,
Absolutely.
out, you know,
Absolutely.
once it's done. But I'd like to let Dan Williams speak, and then we'll move on to those breakout groups, and that way, county by county specific, if there's a need. Okay?
And ma'am, all the commissioners will stay here till everybody's questioned. I just want to say something. Do you guys know this wonderful lady here? You guys know her? You know how long she's been in this county?
Oh.
Do you mind telling them?
Since 1955.
So, and the reason why I say that is not to embarrass you, but we didn't have these in 1955.
No, we didn't,
I
and we
was
had
a-
all dirt roads.
Yeah, I was a kid. And you need to know that I'm one of your commissioners in Teller County. Bob's here, and
Yep.
Amy's here. And I used to live right down this road, and, you know, a lot of you were with me. I know a lot of you guys, we lived through Hayman. We didn't have this, and so we're not apologizing. What we're telling you is, this isn't gonna save your life. This is an
No.
aid, but it's gonna fail at the worst time. I'm an old combat guy, right? Six times combat, old colonel. Every time I counted on technology, it failed me. So what we're telling you is this young lady here, she's a great commissioner. She left her ranch almost on fire, joined us that day, and we spent 4 hours yesterday walking through your homes, not through your homes, but around your homes. And so we're gonna work on those eaches, but I'll tell you, here's what you need to know that's going on. And Bob and Josh are throwing here. So we had 75-mile-an-hour gusts yesterday. We stopped, Jason was right there with us, thank you, Jason. We stopped and talked to everyone that's out there. I've got a radio so that I can hear anytime somebody drives through your neighborhood that doesn't belong there. We haven't had any looting yet that we know of. And they're stopping people and saying, who are you, where do you live? And, you know, that's brothers, sisters, daughters. I can tell you some of you are gonna go back to homes that are missing a few trees. Why? Because the fire came pretty damn close and we saved the trees. And all night, you've had Park County officials and Teller County officials sitting in front of your homes watching. And so, we're not making any apologies, I'm just trying to tell you, this is some really damn good work. We brought a chopper in yesterday, I'm an old helicopter pilot. Well, think about what happens whether you believe in global warming or drought. When you try to drop water in yesterday's temperatures, it froze.
Yep.
I mean, think about these pilots, how they felt. They had to turn around. We had a tanker from New Mexico that came in. Someone asked about slurry. It wasn't anywhere close to the damn fire because as soon as you let it go, 75 mile an hour. So these guys are doing some incredible work, Jen and Jason's folks. So I just ask you to, we're gonna do everything we can to fix it. We have the same problem in Teller. So I hear a lot of that. I think Amy said it best yesterday. There's no dividing line between Teller and Park when it comes to this. We're just all family and friends. We will get things right. We're gonna sit here until you guys are happy and answer every questions. When we were done yesterday, Jason and I went home about 10 o'clock at night, whatever, we watched the news, right? Because we want to make sure as the message getting out. I got to thank the media, you guys have been great getting the message out. But there was still one person that was angry because she didn't know what was going on. And we felt bad. We talked about it last night and this morning to find that one person. So what I would ask you just respectfully is, how about the people that aren't here? How about the old people that didn't evacuate? There's homeless people out there that we're finding that we all know about. Who else needs to know? There's folks that are over in shelters right now that, you know, need to have a handshake or a visit. So I just ask you just for a little bit of patience. And Jason's telling you very nicely, we're not going home tonight because we can't look you in the eye. Your commissioners are charged with one thing by statute: life, health, safety. And so we talk, I don't know, we're never not together. So we're gonna go back out there in the fire area after, but I want you to know that all of us, Josh right here with Forrest, we're actually walking the ground. Your houses are safe. People are not taking their eyes off them, but this stuff's just popping up everywhere. So we feel really good about today. Today might be a turning point, but I just ask your patience. But these things like you guys brought up is super important to us. We're not gonna leave it until we get your address, and they're right. We had Nixel, I don't know how many complaints he's had. He does smile a lot, but he's the guy they come yell at all the time about it. But we're here for you. So I would just say, remember the humans that are out there. You know, we all say thank you to our first responders and to our vets. Some of these guys are vets and first responders, but they're really doing it for you. And
Yep.
I just want to pass that on. So thank you for your patience. I was going to see, maybe you have anything else, or
I'd like to,
Bob or Josh?
I do have one last thing though too, and for your Park County Sheriff, I've been on the phone several times with him. I have my staff in the back of the room. They got over 60, 70 years worth of combined experiences. I know that if I'm gone, because sometimes I go on vacation, I've got a son in Vicenza, Italy that's in the Army. I've got a son in San Francisco doing software stuff. I've got a son in Texas now that has been married and having a baby. And the thing about it is that we all have lives at some point, right? I wish they hadn't moved away, but guess what? Now I have to go see them because they don't come see me because they got their lives. But know that your sheriff does care because I've been in touch with him. There are times when you know that you have competent staff like this young lady here. She's competent. She's here and she's been with me for I don't know how long now. But the thing about it is that we all know and we try to grow up through our ranks competent people that can run things. Because when I'm gone, which is 3 years, 9 months, right? These guys take over. And I know what their capabilities are, right? Because we grow that next group that takes over. I know that this sheriff has grown somebody from her actions and our interactions that is competent to take over. So just know that we're what the old guys used to call well-heeled, right? You've got what's needed. They're doing their best. I have no doubt that we're going to do everything possible to protect your homes. Now, the communication thing, I hate my Everbridge system. I'll tell you why, because I catch so much slack about that thing, I can't even turn around sometimes. But it's today's technologies. When we went to 5G, I don't like 5G either. How many other people went to 5G and the next thing you know, you didn't have any type of cell service at all when you're supposed to have better stuff?
Oh, yeah, right.
I had a whole city out for 6 months with no communication at all. So know that there is no good option with this thing. And that's why we send deputies to homes also to do it. I will tell you, our search and rescue has been amazing. Those guys are the ones going to homes and telling people, hey, this is happening. An amazing group. Your Florissant Fire Department has really reacted well. They have done an extremely good job. I can't give enough kudos to this fire chief, Mr. Holt, for what he's done. I think he's done a great job under a lot of pressure. Because when these fires happen, there's pressure. Your local agencies have some pressure. So just know we're here for you. We love all of you, and we want to make sure everybody's safe. I'm going to end this on this positive note, okay? But thank you all, because you're the reasons why we're here.
Thank
All right.
you all.
Ralph, would you like to say something? Or
Sure, just I'll keep it quick and short. Good morning, everyone. I did want to clarify one thing. We do have a joint information center where we are working with Teller County, the U.S. Forest Service, DFPC, and Park County. So we are all working together to put out one message on Facebook, which is the official page for this incident, which is the 403 Fire-Colorado 2023. That's where all of the official information for this fire is coming out, approved by the IC and our stakeholders. So a couple updates for you as just a the approximate or estimated acreage 1,215 acres. We do plan on having a multi-mission aircraft up in the air to give us a better accurate acreage. So that is planned for later on today if weather cooperates. Containment is at 25% contained. So today is a very critical day for firefighters and the firefighter operations as they continue their efforts to suppress this fire. They are working really hard to secure the lines. So far everything is holding, but they are still working on creating a line around the entire fire. With that being said, again, this is just a critical day for fighting fire for our firefighters and for the community, because the winds have decreased, but temperatures have increased, so that causes another challenge. And then tomorrow, winds increase again and temperature decreases, but another set of challenges comes with that. So today they're going to be working hard. And then just reiterating from our IC that safety for our communities and our firefighters is our #1 priority. You know, we're asking for patience as evacuations are still in effect. Your safety is our first priority. Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, there you go.